The original OG with Dr. Cheryl Dossett is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for your support.
Greetings, my name is Cheryl Dossett and this is My Truth. I come to you today to share my vision for creating a new initiative which embraces the unique talents, strengths, and abilities of a segment of the population which is often overlooked. What I'm referring to are members of the African American or Black community in China. China is a vast land that presents vast opportunities for big thinkers. And as an African American female and a big thinker, I embrace the unknown. I look at China as an opportunity to leverage my talents and abilities because there's enough here in terms of resources to help you create a new life for yourself.
Morning. So what a great way to start a Friday with an incredible guest today, Olivia Nadine. She hails from Washington, D.C., but is in Beijing. Yes, unapologetically Black in China. That's what I said to myself, too. I lived in China as well, and we resonated well when I met her. I call her the curator of the first pop-up Black Expo in China. I even get chills like when I think about it. Like, this show is going to bring things to your awareness that you have never seen before. And the most beautiful thing about these individuals, these men and women of color who are expats, they are creating impactful lives, not only for themselves, but what they're doing for the community, the changes and the challenges that they've been able to go through as an overseas game changer. And people say, Doctor, what is an OG? Well, it's an overseas game changer. It is someone who has found incredible success and impact on foreign soil. And when I say China wasn't ready, China was not ready for this woman. Without further ado, let me introduce to you Olivia, the incomparable. Oh, yes, absolutely, yes. The incomparable, most patient, most illustrious Olivia Nadine from Beijing. Would you like to greet us in some Mandarin, please?
大家好.
Okay. I don't know what she said, but gotta how. We gotta how. We gotta do better.
Hello,
So,
everyone.
she said hello. Okay, well, this is, this is my show. I can be however I want to, but this woman is incredible. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Nadine. What brought you to China from Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and I first got hooked into China back in undergrad. It was actually my minor in college. International business was my major, and I already spoke English, so I figured Chinese would be a good minor language with, over 1 billion people speaking it. And I got to do a study abroad in my junior year, and I loved it, had so much fun, learned so much, grew so much, traveled, and just experienced a wider range of life. And ever since then, that was 2010, ever since then I've been coming back, and then I moved in 2016. So it's just been the last 10 years, 10, 11 years have all pointed towards China for me.
I'm speechless. I'm so excited because if you've not lived in China before, I don't know if you can really comprehend the connection. China either grabs you, compels you, or pulls you. So with that in line, I mean, it's so incredible to meet a sister. I would say a sister, because when I saw her, I actually started to cry. And I looked around the room at her first Black Expo, like, what is she doing? She's community building. She's bringing people together from all aspects of the diaspora. So with that being said, what or how has your perspective changed about your life as a woman of color, an extremely successful businesswoman? well respected, not only in the African community, in within the diaspora, but among the Chinese nationals. Chinese nationals love her. If you look at her images, they literally like adore her. Her talent and her wit are so incredible. So, what has your experience done with your perspective with your family who is back in the States? I'm really curious, and I know our viewers will be curious as well.
Yeah, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. I'm actually planning on helping out with the family business that's in Savannah, Georgia, over the next couple of years. But I am the only one of my mom's side of the family that currently lives abroad. I have a cousin on my dad's side who lives in Europe playing basketball. But the two of us, of all of our cousins, aunts, and uncles, are the only ones who live abroad. So one of my uncles says that he thinks I'm like the adventurous one and the thrill-seeking, risk-taking one. And it's they supported me when I first came out. When I talked about that study abroad trip, my mom and her sister and her sister-in-law and my pastor all came out on a women's trip with me. So they were there for that first 10 days. So I guess some people live vicariously through me and kind of live through my experiences. And my nieces are actually starting to take Mandarin classes now. So it's clearly inspiring and impacting them, even if I'm not there all the time to actually do it.
Two thoughts come to mind. To whom much is given, much is received. You have to do much. You have to do something. You have to give back. And the other one is many are called, but few are chosen. Looking at you, you are chosen to do this work at such a time as this. Your pastor came with you, so he understood. He was releasing you out there. She understood. No, she understood. We're on Preach the Word Network, so we are all accepting of all kinds. Tell us about your brand. Where did this idea come? Now, she has two brands, maybe three, maybe four, maybe five. Like she said, she's a serial entrepreneur. And this show is highlighting the achievements and accomplishments of Black expats on foreign soil and in China in particular. Tell us about your two brands.
So I'll start chronologically. The first brand was Tianmi Bakery, or is Tianmi Bakery. It's a American style on-demand bakery and soul food concept. That started just because I wanted good brownies, could not find them. And anyone knows who does bake, which most of America bakes, but a lot of China doesn't bake. Like most of American apartments, even the worst apartments will still come with an oven. But out here, ovens are not the norm. And I had to go on Amazon and like really search for one. But got my oven, and if you bake, you can't just make one brownie. You make a pan. And if you are conscious of not trying to get diabetes, then you shouldn't eat the whole pan. So I started giving it to my coworkers, and they loved it. I was HR at the time, so it was a great way to win brownie points, pun intended. But they told me about markets and that Beijing has a robust market scene and that there are other people who make desserts at home and sell them at these markets. I started to join. I sold out on my very first one and continued to grow from there. And I ended up getting linked up with a food incubator that's out here, and I started to put on events. And so my first one was a chicken and waffles brunch, all you can eat chicken and waffles brunch, and I had about 40 people come out. And I've done Thanksgiving. In 2019, I did 3 Thanksgiving dinners, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and fed, I think, around 80 people over those days. And the largest single dinner I hosted was, I think, 70 people. So I've done a lot of food events around here, and people really like it because there's no other soul food concept in Beijing, possibly China, but definitely not in Beijing. And that doing the markets actually led to doing Black Expo. So I was in the markets. I saw that there's only a few vendors that are able to apply, and new vendors usually aren't able to get in just because of the nature of you want people that you already know and that you already trust. So looking around that and seeing WeChat, which if you're outside of China, WeChat is hard to explain, but it's a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of Twitter, a little bit of Cash App, all rolled into one. And people would share their businesses on there. But if you're just a name that's floating in these group chats that are 400, 500 people, they're easy to get lost. So seeing that there are people on businesses who are name cards floating in WeChat, knowing that there's this market environment, and marrying those two ideas together. And one thing I don't really talk about a lot is that in 2017, I, along with a few other people, about 10 other people, we put on a 2-day event series called Umoja. And Umoja was a celebration of unity in the Black community. And so people traveled from Guangzhou and Shanghai and came up for the 2 days. We had a panel discussion about Blackness in China, and then we had a picnic, and then we had a party. And it was one of the first events of its kind. So doing that event in early 2017 around Africa Week, doing markets with the bakery, seeing that there is a plethora of Black-owned business, but not necessarily a plethora of spaces for them to be celebrated, all culminated together into doing Black Expo.
Well, listen, let me just be very candid. This is truly a game changer because everybody loves Chinese food in America. But right in front of us today, we have the woman who brought soul food. Let me not even say this, but soul food to China. My. If that's not a game changer, game changers change the narrative and the optics. And then she's talking about Black Expo. Now, I've heard of Black Expo in New York, but Black Expo in China. You're going to see some pictures later. I wish words cannot express the feeling of pride to see this mosaic of rich people of color, richness in their heritage and their culture, coming together, cooperating. We're not against one another in China. We work together. I'm telling you, this woman, listen, if you're listening out there, sponsors, this woman needs to be on the cover of Essence. We need to have a separate Essence edition about women who are doing it big in China. And you notice her humility. She's just talking about it. But this woman, like I said, if you want to know anyone who's to know anyone, tell us how we can reach out to you. Because I tell you, before this is over, some magazine is going to reach out to her. Please, how can we get in touch with you? Put it in the chat. Listen, because this is not over. The OGs are going to be taking over. We're taking over Asia. Everywhere we set our feet, we are taking dominion over the territory through business, education, and empowerment. And who's going to be leading the way? Me. I'm going to be right next to Olivia Nadine, who brought, did you hear what she just said? Hold on, did you get that part? She said chicken and waffles in Beijing. We're talking about egg foo young and egg rolls. No, honey, this is a whole new lifestyle. Chicken and Chinese love chicken and waffles. The incredible Olivia Nadine. Thank you for your time. And thank you for joining us on our first inaugural show. The best.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Angelina, you the cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I no go fall in your hand never. So now me you could love forever. I'm a cocky no feeble letter. I'm my Angelina, with my Angelina. Oh me all down. Anytime when I see you for the club or the television, your body. Sure you know say the thing when you carry 50 kill somebody. You know I feel a vibe, you feel a vibe, so baby whine about me. Yeah, and I know you shy, but it's cool when we're making love. On the low, 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 on the low.
Welcome. And this is Dr. Dossett, the original OG, overseas game changer. Yes, I said it once and I'm going to say it again. The only reason I'm going to say it twice because the young man that you have on the screen today that you're seeing, he is the original OG. I'm gonna tell you, I know I'm supposed to be calm as a guest, but I love this brother so much. I met him in China, though we're from Brooklyn. This young man, I say young because he's younger than me, has changed my life. He taught me about media. He taught me about expressing your voice. He taught me about being a big thinker. He taught me about never saying no. This man impacted my life so much. And I remember saying to myself, I promised one day, I said, Raleigh, I'm telling you, I'm going to do something with what you have taught me so that it can reach the homes of millions of people. I'm not talking thousands, I'm talking millions. This brother, Mr. Raleigh, fashion designer, filmmaker, mentor, coach, visionary, curator. My goodness, this is not enough minutes in this broadcast to talk to you about how impactful this brother lives in China. He is truly one of the unapologetically Black in China people that I've met. I mean, he has touched my life in so many ways words cannot express. And the vision for this show is to bring my viewers people that are so extraordinary in what they do that they're so humble they don't even realize it. And why don't they see it? Because they have the love in them to do something great. This show is about not about me. It's about game changers, about people who are making difference in the lives of multitudes outside of the US. Without further ado, let me bring on Anthony Rowley. Tell us a little bit about your story from Brooklyn and your journey to China. Just give us a minute overview. Who are you? I mean, I can't even describe who you are because you're so big to me. So, who are you in your
Appreciate
own
it.
eyes?
Um, in my own eyes, I'm just a kid. I'm still feel like a kid that had a vision to start his brand, and I knew that the best place to do that was in China, and I knew that if I wanted the resources, I needed to leave Brooklyn and leave outside of my 5-10 block radius and uh, broaden my horizons and go see the world and make that happen. And that's just who I am. I think just a person that sees what they want and does and just moves on whatever they feel like they need to do.
He's so modest, but he has something, if you listen carefully, he has something deep inside of him that is resonates power coupled with humility. He talked very briefly, such a small mention of his brand. Tell us a little bit more about your vision for AWOR. Where did the name come from? And really, how did you go about getting it started? I mean, you can find, look, he's even advertising, showing one of his designs, his shirts. You can find, if you're in New York, you can find in New York, you can find his brand in Atlanta. Tell us, where can they find you and your brand? There's so much I want to talk to you about. So much, because you
Okay,
are amazing.
appreciate it. About the name, so the name, actually my name is Anthony Rowley, and there's another designer that has a similar name. Her name is Cynthia Rowley. So I just figured that I would reverse my name, and that's where the WOR comes for in AWOR. So it's AWOR instead of A-roll. And what it stands for is a worthy soul. So that's what the name AWOR means. It's short for a worthy soul. And about the brand, um, I guess for me the brand just stands for dignity, being dignified and walking in your own light and being comfortable in your own skin. And that's just what the brand is for me. It's just a platform to show people that you can do what it is that you want to do, and you can look the way you want to look, and just own yourself.
He always shares this positivity. I don't recall ever meeting Anthony down. I don't even call him Anthony, I call him Raleigh. I don't ever remember if he was going through a struggle. But I'd like to know, how was it to get into this fashion design and manufacturing processes in China? Do you speak the language? Let us know.
Yeah, now I do. When I first came, I didn't speak the language, so obviously there was a little barrier there, and that caused some difficulties in the beginning, especially more so than the language. Actually, just having cultural differences, I think, caused most of the initial issues that I had with manufacturing and production, and just also just having to overcome a learning curve about the actual business behind it. I had the creativity to make a brand because I worked in fashion for a little while, but the business side is something that I had to learn, and I had to learn about production numbers and about MOQs, which is a minimum order quantity, and things of that nature to actually get the brand started and get it off the ground. So I think that was the first kind of struggle that I encountered with starting the brand. After that, it's just I think that my other struggle would probably be um, maybe just trying to find inspiration out out here. I think I had to change my lens, the lens that I was looking through, to find inspiration in other ways. Whereas in New York, you're walking down the street and you see inspiration everywhere you go. Everybody is a dresser in New York. Even you go to church in New York and you see in every fly hat in the world, right? You walking down the streets in Brooklyn and you seeing some jazzed out cat. You see in style all the time. So it's a different level of inspiration, and I think I had to change my lens to appreciate China for what it was to regain inspiration. So I think that might have been my second struggle, being here, which actually in the end turned out to be uh, more of a blessing, I guess, than a struggle, because there's a lot of innovation that I see here, and I've been able to take some of the things that I'm seeing and twist it and make it better in my own way, and influence my brand.
And let me just say this. For me, China activated my power. Do you feel like China activated your personal power? Because you're a bad brother, okay? Let me just say that right now for the audience. I mean, this individual, listen, we're going to get information how to reach out to him. His creativity, he's so humble. Like you met the other guests, everybody's so humble. But this has to be the baddest brother on the planet. I said it. This has to be the baddest brother on the planet because his creativity, his enthusiasm. I mean, he taught me what little bit I know about production. He actually was the photographer for my book. But it's not about that, right? And it's about him. Tell us a little bit about your filmmaking and your photography, which is I'm waiting for your photography book, your journal to come out any year soon. Tell us about your inspiration for your photography. Just just
Um,
just a, just an altogether bad brother. That's all
so
I have to say.
the biggest inspiration behind my photography. Well, first, let's talk about how we met. I got to go about that. So I was actually home. We both lived in China, but we didn't actually meet in China first. We met over the internet while I was in Brooklyn and you was in China. I was at home for vacation, and I think one of our friends, mutual associates, connected us because you needed to shoot your book cover. And I went over to your block, which happened to be very near where I'm from, and it just worked out that way. But I think that my biggest inspiration for my photography is probably people. I like shooting portraits more than I like shooting anything else. And as far as my photography book goes, I'm trying to build a book of images of different phenotypes of the Black diaspora. And a lot of people, especially in the world, I think they look at us and think that we look the same, but actually we are the most diverse people that there are. We have the most diverse phenotype out of everyone, in the world right now. So I spend a lot of time capturing different faces, different shades, different colors, different hair textures, um, different noses, different lips. So that's what my photography is my book is going to be about just power of being a Black woman in this world.
Can you repeat that again? We had a bit of network difficulty. I want to make sure we get that in. I know you love capturing people. You have a very interesting look, but when I look at this all together, I think that's what really grabbed my attention about living in China. I saw images
There we
and
go.
I saw images of people that looked like me. I wasn't doing a sighting. Let me look for a Black person. Let me look for a Black. I wasn't doing a sighting, but maybe subconsciously I felt like I was doing a sighting. And so when we connected, we're going to continue. We're going to add it all together. When we connected, I felt home. I'm already in China and I just felt home because one of my brothers was in China and his favorite quote is, "I got you." As you see in these shows, the people that I bring on, they're so multifaceted, but yet so very humble. So this is an opportunity to be inspired by one of the coolest brothers on the planet, Mr. Anthony Rowley. This is
Appreciate it.
Dr. Doss. You're welcome. This is Dr. Doss. I am the original OG, overseas game changer, next to another OG. Thank you for your time, Raleigh. Peace and blessings, everyone.
Yes,
That's
thank
our
you.
segment for today. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
I had to fly in from the United States 24 hours to be with this amazing, amazing, amazing soul. And I had a speech or something I was just going to speak to her, but I just want to speak from the heart, if that's okay. Can you come up here? I have to say that I prayed this lady into my life. And about May of this year, I said a silent prayer that I wanted a client in China from the United States, just a little whisper. And 2 weeks after that, there was a correspondence that she mentioned earlier that took place on Facebook about me while I was sleeping. And when I woke up that morning, this young lady had said that she was looking for a book coach. So not only did I answer her prayer, but she answered mine.
The original OG with Dr. Cheryl Dossett is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for your support.